Hello, everyone. Welcome to the profound world of yokai. These monstrous beings, stirring in the darkness of night, have captivated people's imaginations for ages, becoming objects of terror and awe. Among them, the Rokurokubi and Nukekubi are perhaps the most bizarre and possess a certain eerie beauty. Today we will focus on these two yokai, delving deeply into their origins, legends, and even modern scientific perspectives. Why would only a human head undergo such an abnormal transformation? By approaching this mystery with medical insights, your understanding of yokai will undoubtedly reach a new phase. By the time you finish watching this video, the neck of someone walking beside, you might just appear a little longer than usual. Come, let us embark together on a forbidden journey of exploration. First, let's introduce the Rokurokubi. This yokai lives as an ordinary human during the day, but at night, its neck stretches abnormally long. Often depicted as women in many legends, their strange appearance gives viewers a strong sense of shock mixed with an unsettling allure. The etymology of Rokurokubi is said to come from the rokuro, potter's wheel used to shape pottery. The way a pot transforms on the wheel while spinning was likely likened to a neck stretching long. However, what makes this yokai terrifying and intriguing is not just that its neck extends, but that it performs various actions while its neck is elongated. Its first appearance in literature is believed to be in the Edo period, collection of strange tales, Sorori Monogatari. Here, a young samurai on a journey encounters a woman whose neck stretches up to the ceiling at night to lick oil from an oil lamp. This story is very famous as the prototype of Rokurokubi, and thereafter it began to be depicted in many strange and ghost stories. Many Rokurokubi are often portrayed as being unaware of their own abnormality, or desperately hiding their true identity. Because they lead normal lives during the day, their transformation only appears at night. This might symbolize the hidden side of human nature, their concealed true self. In some legends, a Rokurokubi's husband discovers his wife's nocturnal transformation, is horrified by her stretched neck, and ultimately, the wife meets a tragic end, discovering her true identity. Furthermore, some Rokurokubi possess more malicious traits, such as sucking human blood or draining human life force. By extending its neck, it can reach prey in places normally inaccessible, stealing their vitality. This can be interpreted as the embodiment of human desires, or malice that preys on others. However, on the other hand, there are also legends of harmless Rokurokubi that simply stretch their necks out of curiosity or hunger. The act of licking oil might reflect a certain craving for oil, a valuable resource in that era. Rokurokubi legends have been passed down across various regions of Japan. It is a yokai widely shared among people, not limited to a specific area, proving that many believed in and feared its existence. Its form has been depicted in classical performing arts like kabuki and ukiyo-e, deeply rooted in Japanese culture. Next, let's look at the Nukekubi. This yokai is often confused with the Rokurokubi, but there is a definitive difference in their nature. The Nukekubi is even more unrealistic and terrifying at night. Its head completely separates from its torso and floats in the air. While the Rokurokubi's neck stretches while remaining attached to its body, the Nukekubi's head literally detaches. The torso remains in place after the head flies off, lying dormant like a shell. The head, flying freely through the air, moves to various places at its own will, and is sometimes said to inflict harm upon people. The origin of the Nukekubi is also said to derive from the Chinese yokai Hituban. Hituban is a yokai whose head separates from its body and flies around, supposedly sucking human blood every night. Similar yokai are widely distributed in Southeast Asia, such as the Banshee in Thailand or the Penanggalan in Malaysia. In these regions, many of them are women, who live as ordinary women during the day, a commonality observed. A famous Nukekubi legend in Japan is found in the Taiheki. It describes a man living in Hizen Province, parts of modern-day Saga and Nagasaki prefectures, who witnesses his wife's head detach from her torso and fly around at night. Before her head can return, he hides her body. The head, having lost its place to return, eventually exhausts its strength and perishes. This story suggests that the Nukekubi's weakness lies in its separated torso. If its body is hidden or harmed, the Nukekubi loses its way back and meets its demise. The purposes for which a Nukekubi flies around vary. They may suck people's blood, extract their livers, or simply wander to instill fear. While most act with malicious intent, some legends also describe them flying through the night sky, simply driven by the urge to fly. Both Rokurokubi and Nukekubi share the commonality of the head, undergoing an abnormal transformation. Yet there are clear differences in their form and operational principles. Rokurokubi represents a deformation, where a part of the body stretches, while Nukekubi signifies a more fundamental bodily anomaly of a part separating. This difference affects both the yokai's character and the quality of fear they inspire. Now, while what we have discussed so far are merely yokai legends, a question arises. If phenomena like Rokurokubi or Nukekubi could truly occur in the human body, what kind of mechanism would be behind them? From here, I would like to deeply consider that possibility from a medical perspective. As mentioned in the input, let's consider the possibility of a neck-stretching physiological phenomenon, or an abnormal cervical spine structure within the body from the viewpoint of medicine X rare illness. First, regarding the phenomenon of the neck stretching long like a Rokurokubi, this might be interpreted as an abnormality of the cervical spine in modern medicine. The human cervical spine plays an extremely important role in supporting the skull and sending nerves from the brain to the entire body, and it usually consists of 7 bones vertebrae. If this cervical spine were to undergo abnormal development, or if its structure were to change due to a specific disease, the phenomenon of the neck appearing abnormally long or actually stretching is not entirely impossible. Possible scenarios include the following. 1. Excessive flexibility and extensibility, hypermobility. Some individuals are born with joint laxity, where their joints are abnormally flexible. This occurs due to abnormalities in connective tissue, such as in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Patients with this syndrome exhibit abnormally stretchy skin and excessively flexible joints. Theoretically, if the neck joints, surrounding ligaments, and muscles possessed such abnormal extensibility, it is conceivable that the neck could physically move in a way that makes it appear longer than usual. Of course, there would be a risk of joint dislocation, but in extreme cases, a phenomenon resembling a Rokurokubi might momentarily occur. 2. Abnormal vertebral development. It is also conceivable that individual vertebrae making up the cervical spine could grow abnormally long due to some genetic factor or an unknown disease. If each vertebra were longer than usual, the overall neck length would naturally increase. This could be considered a type of congenital malformation. However, in such cases, the neck would not freely extend and contract, but would be permanently in an elongated state. 3. Abnormal elongation of muscles and connective tissues. Even without problems in the cervical spine itself, if the muscles, ligaments, and tendons that support the neck developed abnormal extensibility or excessive growth, the neck could appear longer than usual. Specifically, if there were a condition where the neck muscles were abnormally relaxed or connective tissues were stretched out, one might perceive the neck as elongated due to gravity or experience, a sensation of temporary stretching. 4. Endocrine abnormalities. There are also diseases where bones and cartilage undergo abnormal growth due to endocrine abnormalities, such as excessive secretion of growth hormone. For instance, in acromegaly, the bones of the hands, feet, and face enlarge, and in very rare cases, abnormal spinal growth has been reported. If these were to specifically affect the cervical spine, the possibility of the neck becoming abnormally long cannot be denied. 5. Psychological factors or illusion. Many yokai legends are also said to have their roots in human illusions, psychological fear, or mental disorders. For example, one might experience a sensation of their body abnormally stretching during sleep paralysis or perceive others' appearances as distorted due to fear or anxiety. The fact that they are often witnessed at night also suggests the possibility that in situations where visual information is limited by darkness, the human brain tried to compensate for information, resulting in the creation of a monstrous figure. Now, regarding the phenomenon of the head separating from the torso and flying, like a Nukekubi, this is utterly inconceivable to occur in the human body. Based on modern medical and biological knowledge, if the head were to separate from the torso, The spinal cord, blood vessels, nerves, and all would be severed, resulting in immediate loss of life. However, if we were to force a medical interpretation, it would remain within the realm of highly speculative or metaphorical consideration, such as the following. 1. Confusion of astral projection with physical phenomena. The expression, "the head flies," for Nukekubi might not refer to a physical separation of the head, but rather to how people at the time visually interpreted a phenomenon like astral projection, where the spirit or soul separates from the physical body and moves. It's possible that in the borderland between dream and reality, or in an altered state of consciousness, one might experience the sensation of their consciousness moving away from their body, which was then described as the head flying. And perhaps this mental experience was later passed down as a physical separation. 2. Abnormal self-body perception, due to severe dissociative disorder. As an extremely rare mental disorder, there are symptoms like dissociative somatic symptom disorder, where one feels that a part of their body does not belong to them. In cases where these symptoms worsen drastically, individuals might experience powerful hallucinations, or delusions that their head has detached from their body and is moving freely. And when such patients were witnessed, it is conceivable that those around them perceived it as a Nukekubi. 3. Physical mutation and analogy with insects or reptiles. Some creatures in biology, like certain lizards, can sever their tails to escape, or insects shed their exoskeletons during molting. It is not entirely impossible, though extremely unlikely, that the human body might temporarily mimic the characteristics of these different creatures due to some rare illness. However, this is entirely in the realm of science fiction according to modern science. 4. Unconscious actions, during sleep and dream confusion. In very rare cases, during sleep, one might unconsciously move their head vigorously or roll over, and in a hazy state of consciousness, experience the illusion that their head is moving separately from their body. Furthermore, in cases of sleep disorders like sleep apnea, when consciousness hovers between wakefulness and sleep, one might have dreams accompanied by abnormal bodily sensations, which are then confused with reality. Thus, when trying to interpret the phenomena of Rokurokubi and Nukekubi from a medical perspective, while some possibilities can be found on the extension of rare illnesses or physiological phenomena, especially a complete separation, like the Nukekubi enters an unrealistic realm unexplainable by modern science. However, it can also be argued that people's imagination and fear amplified these slight bodily anomalies and illusions, embodying them in the form of yokai. Yokai can also be said to be the embodiment of unexplained natural phenomena, anxieties, fears hidden in people's hearts, and curiosity about the strange. Rokurokubi and Nukekubi are precisely symbols of this, embodying a sense of awe towards the human body, a being both most familiar and most mysterious. In modern Japan, with the advancement of science and technology, mysteries of diseases and the body have been solved one after another. Yet, there still exist unexplained rare illnesses and rare bodily abnormalities. If people with strange physical characteristics like Rokurokubi or Nukekubi truly existed in the past, how might they have been treated in society at that time? They might have been feared and discriminated against as monstrous, or they might have been revered as sacred beings, or treated as individuals with special powers. It can also be considered that behind yokai legends lies the history of how people with physical characteristics interacted with society throughout such times. For example, imagine a person whose neck structure was very flexible, making it appear temporarily long. If that person unconsciously made gestures of stretching their neck at night, those who saw it might have spread rumors like, "It's a yokai whose neck stretches." And as these rumors were passed down with embellishments, they might have been increasingly dramatized, eventually forming the current Rokurokubi legends. Moreover, stories like the Nukekubi, where the head and torso separate, are most likely based on some form of illusion, intense dreams, or phenomena like mass hysteria. However, it is not difficult to imagine that for people of that time, these were perceived as real events and became objects of awe. Especially incidents occurring at night or in deserted places would have stoked people's fears and provided ample material to be passed down as ghost stories. Even in modern creative works, Rokurokubi and Nukekubi are popular motifs. In horror works, their eerie appearance terrifies people, and in fantasy works, they are sometimes depicted as beings with unique abilities. They can also appear as comical characters in gag manga, leveraging their neck-stretching characteristic. In this way, even as times change, yokai like Rokurokubi and Nukekubi continue to stimulate people's imaginations. This is proof that humanity's fundamental curiosity, the drive to explore the unknown and the unusual, is passed down through generations. When we encounter phenomena or beings beyond our understanding, we try to approach their mystery by passing them down as stories and preserving them for future generations. Yokai legends are also a cultural product born from such human intellectual curiosity and primitive fear. The stories of Rokurokubi and Nukekubi are not just scary tales. They contain deep contemplation about the human body and reverence for the unseen. Our bodies may still hold many unsolved mysteries. Perhaps phenomena that fundamentally shake what we consider normal about the human body might be quietly occurring even in modern society, albeit very rarely. No matter how much medicine advances, it cannot unravel all the mysteries of the human body. The possibility of unnamed rare illnesses and physiological phenomena beyond common sense is never zero. Such awe and exploratory spirit towards the unknown may be the driving force that has created and passed down yokai, like Rokurokubi and Nukekubi from ancient times to the present. Through this video, I hope you gain a different perspective on the yokai Rokurokubi and Nukekubi, by not simply dismissing them as old tales or fabrications, but by contemplating the possibility that they might exist. Our world will become even richer in depth and mystery. At the Yokai channel, we will continue to explore various yokai mysteries that stimulate your intellectual curiosity. If you have any strange experiences or suspicious rumors around you, please share them in the comments. Perhaps that could be the beginning of a new yokai story. Well, our journey into the profound world of yokai is now coming to an end. This world may still hold many phenomena unexplainable by science and beings beyond our understanding. Rokurokubi and Nukekubi feel as if they are gently opening a door to such unknown realms for us. They may be mirrors reflecting our deepest fears of the monstrous and, simultaneously, our fascination with it, hidden deep within our own bodies and minds. In this channel, we will continue to unravel ancient yokai stories together, delving into the human emotions behind them and their scientific possibilities. We wish to share with you moments of spine-chilling terror, mysteries that spark intellectual curiosity, and sometimes stories imbued with people's warm hearts. The presence of yokai might quietly lurk in our daily lives. By encountering their stories, we become aware of the diversity of this world and the boundless nature of human imagination. And sometimes it can be an opportunity to confront the darkness and light hidden within ourselves. It would be our greatest pleasure if this channel could bring a little spice and intellectual excitement to your daily lives. Please look forward to our continued exploration of new yokai stories, urban legends, and unexplained phenomena from various angles. With that, our profound journey into yokai exploration concludes here. Thank you very much for watching until the end. We look forward to meeting you again in the next video in a new world of yokai.